Is this screen still viewable on the share? Okay, cool. All right, good. Cool. So what I was trying to, what I wanted to kind of share on the voice chat, if something was not clear, and kind of give a little, high level view, on the current structure where we are and how we're looking at the waves, and why I'm not bullish that okay it can go up further just right from here, and why I want a retracement, right? So everybody knows from last 2 3 weeks that we have been tracking this count as 1 2 3 4 and 5, right? So we certainly want to go higher. The only thing we have been working on for I think since December beginning was this how this wave 4 is going to unfold, and all of most of you know who have been there for a while that wave 4 is very complicated, can take multiple structures. And we discussed about a few of the options when we were kind of landing into the lows here. That what do we see it happening? Do we see a partial retracement and then come back, or do we see like a double top and a flat correction, right? So that was, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then we kind of got that gap closed lows, and we moved into 6100 as one of the option that we looked into. We did close our initial SPXL longs at around 6,000, then it went another 100 points up, and we said we don't want to buy the highs, we don't want to short the lows, right? And that's where I was not bullish on this move out on a low volume on Friday, and they expect on Thursday, and the expectation was this is probably taking out the stops above this, and they're gonna just do a reversal from there, right? And Friday was a small chop, but again, Sunday night we know what happened, right? So we bought it again yesterday on a dip. That was about 2.5% or so dip overnight, and then of course with that, a bounce is generally next day and all, and that's what we got. Now, when we're looking at in a larger time frame, it's still a wave four. Now, look into an option where I said, we can probably see new lows again. And the reason I brought that up was because, and I'll show you on QQQ, because Qs have actually retraced almost to like, almost double bottom yesterday, and it doesn't make sense that, it doesn't make a new low at this point. Just from, a count perspective, though you can still say it's wave one and two, but I feel that it's still part of wave four. And that's why this came back into the view that what if we just mark this as a C, where my wave 4 just moves out here a little bit, right? It's still above my one high, so I don't have any problem with another dip as long as it just doesn't keep dipping. Anything coming into back into this demand zone again, this particular one, we do not have any problem. We can take another dip into it, simply even can go lower until 5,700 without any problems. And from there, we can say that, okay, it marked the ABC, and now we have this last wave coming from there. That's like the most bearish option I'm looking at. Is it my preferred? No, but it's just kind of helps in certain things, and I'll talk about those certain things, why it helps clear some of those charts up, and make it a little easier for us to even look at this whole wave 5 from there, which is another 500 600 points or maybe more, right? So that this is one aspect, but the original one that we were tracking was simply that this drop is a drop, came in just one leg, and now we are retracing into the B leg upwards, and this is my A, B, and a C. So 5,900 is something I certainly want to see before thinking about longs. Again, I do not want to buy in the highs here without seeing a proper correction. With so many gaps still open, we didn't even close this gap properly yesterday. It just fell right into where my weekly plan was. That okay, somewhere around 5,975. If you just go and check, it just fell right into that, right? So now saying that we will just start ripping from here, it's pretty much the previous rally was quite sharp, and I do not expect a wave three to be this sharp again. Pushing 400 points without a good retracement, while you have all this drama with the AI going on, and many of the charts in a very messy place, specifically with SMH, which doesn't make sense at this point, at all, right? So this is my least expectation. But again, like I always say, if you're not comfortable with short, don't short it. Just wait for the dip to come. And when it's dipping, we will know whether 5,900 is going to stop it or it's going for, making a new low. We will have an ample amount of time to act on it and add the SPXL longs and keep it for 600 points if you don't want to kind of mess around and try to trade another leg. But these are two of my bearish options. Like I said, I do want to see this 5,900. And if this becomes like a wave five down, like five waves down, this was simply a wave one down, a two bounce. Two can keep bouncing up to 78% or so, no problem with that. So today could be just simply a trap where they're just bouncing it to make everybody bullish, look market strong, but underneath, again, the problem is the same that they're gonna either start after FOMC or maybe overnight. You never know when they're gonna start, right? Or FOMC will accelerate it, or MSFT earnings will accelerate it. I don't know, but this is a part that we do want to keep in consideration that after earnings, we may see this dip. Now, what happens if, let's say, they park it somewhere close to 5,900 after FOMC? Should you go long? You can certainly do partial longs at 5,900, but remember, like we did last time, well, we buy at 1,500, but we do hedge with puts with the three earnings coming after hours, right? So that could be another plan if we go long in 5,900, if they park it by end of day tomorrow somewhere close to 5,900, right? Something to remember, and we can figure that out that way, right? So this is SPX, and coming to why I think that a new low is still possible is because of this, right? So Q almost retraced, like I said, let me just clear out the levels. Q almost retraced almost into this double bottom, into this particular demand from where the previous rally started. Now, can I call it like, it's an A wave, and the B will be a double bottom? It can happen. I mean, there is no rule saying that C has to do A equals to C and 100%. You may give a short leg, just kind of touch that demand again without making a new low. Because if you make a new low, then it's not a wave two, then it's a wave a C of four, or whatever Y of four, or whatever we want to call it as. But this drop, as long as it doesn't go below, it's fine to count it as two, and then we can say the three is starting. But if it goes low, then we'll build up this as a wave four, and from there the new structure will start to build up, which is again, like this: one, two, three, four, and five, right? And if you look from a larger point of view, like SPX, this dip or new low does not really change anything. It's still a very nice one, two, three, four, still sitting in the same demand, same 496, 500 number, which we have talked for over a month now, right? And let me mute. Yeah, and this stays as is. So there is no problem with making a new low as long as it stays somewhere in the 494, 496 level. No problem. If it doesn't make a new low, kind of stick to either the low of Monday or somewhere close, then we will act accordingly. So if QQQ does not make a new low, then I think SPX will be somewhere around the 5880 mark, and or 5867 mark, if you remember the level that we were tracking. I think 7 8 sessions before the whole rally started. So somewhere around that ballpark, I think both can end as well, right? So these are the two bearish options that I am looking at right now. Now, coming to other things that we have been talking about. So this SMH chart has been a mess for a very long time. We had a target of doing 270. It met at the max. We said it can go to 283 to do a double top, but it couldn't go there, right? And we got the supply acted, and we got a push down. Now, I gave a couple of options. in the chat in the morning, which was basically that, if let's say we don't have a big sell off, and the sell off is only till 5900 or so, 5900 really does not matches with this coming down all the way to 198, while a new low probably can get us to 198 for SMH, right? If SPX is going to 57 something or 5750 or something like that, then we can get SMH as well as at 198 again. A very nice double bottom wave 4. And if you look from the weekly perspective, looks pretty good to be out there, and then just push just right from there from this level of 198 200, and then make the wave 5 just right from there, right? So we'll have to see that this demand above, not this one but this one, holds, and the dip gets reversed from there, right? If it gets reversed from there, there's no further low to be made, and we go up. Now we also know that wave force can be a triangle, so that's why I kept that option in the play, and it's all based on how much we drop in the next couple of days with earnings. 5900 or somewhere close. I don't see it breaking these lows, basically this demand right here, this one, right? So it may just dip into this, could go a little lower if it wants to, but this demand will certainly hold, and this triangle will start. While indexes may start doing another wave 1 and 2 for wave 3, this will start doing its D and E and then a push up, right? So two scenarios to keep in mind for SMH. Both kind of matches our scenario with both various scenarios, but kind of helps clean up this chart and build a pattern that we know that, okay, after this much of consolidation in a triangle, when the breakout is going to happen, it's going to be a big breakout, right? It's just not going to end at 300 or so. We are looking at probably, when this breakout happens from 270 or 266 or 263, that level, we are looking at least 70, 80 points from there. You can long it at the breakout if you want to at that point of time, or you can long it simply here and here, right? So either way, it will just will fine. This is like almost 6, 7 months of consolidation. It's gonna be a real good trade from there. Right. So other stocks which we are looking at, we talked about Tesla, right? Tesla has a 360 demand. It did not push through and make those 5 waves. So I think Tesla is gonna give us this dip of wave 4 and then push, upward. So now does this mean SPX 5750 or 5900? I don't know. We will just see what happens when the earnings come out, right? Microsoft, we have been talking about all these messy, choppy moves it's been doing in a year for a year. Again, it dipped yesterday, and this whole move from yesterday, it's very unnatural. I can't really put any good count on it, other than saying that, okay, this is my B leg, because this is what happens in the B or X leg, where we really don't understand what the hell is going on, and there is a C pending. Could this be also a triangle? Yes, this could also be a triangle. If you see, it could simply be a wave 4 triangle, and it's just working that out, right? So maybe a minor dip, or maybe it just starts ripping from here. But again, this is a wave 4 action going on. And if this is wave 4 triangle, we are looking into, 520, 30, that sort of kind of number later on, right? So that's Microsoft. And Nvidia, let's talk a little bit about that one too. So our expectation was that, this right here, let me just draw it right again. Our expectation initially was that this was wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we are looking at wave 5, either from here or maybe a double dip, and then, right, as a ending diagonal. But now with this drop, it kind of opens up certain, different options, because this is not now my ending diagonal. This dip was too much to to begin with, right? So now what can happen if let's say we get another sell off in the market? Will it come all the way to 100, or maybe a little lower? Yeah, there are good chances, but the way I'll start looking into this is that this was my A dip. This was my whole thing was a B up, as in expanded flat, and now we are looking at building 5 waves down. So my C leg should come somewhere here, right? If it's expanded, a siege only makes a new low. I don't see it going there, so it will be probably a running flat, right? So if this was my wave one, wave two, wave three, this is wave four. We'll see another dip here in Nvidia in the coming next couple of days, and my this demand is gonna hold, and this is where the triangle of SMH will work out as well, and we are gonna just go up from there, and it'll be a buildup of a new wave altogether. So because this is my running flat four, and from here we'll have new five waves up, right? And those are who are new. What is running flat? I can probably share it from the education section. Hang on a second. Let me just go back there. Um, Battle cards and where is running flat? Okay, this is our running flat as a correction, right? So B making a new high like here, and C making a higher low, not a lower low below A, but a higher low, right? So very bullish pattern overall, and like I said, we get this fifth wave dip right here into this demand, and it does not go any lower. It keeps its 200 DMA intact. The close will be above that. The rally starts, right? So all what we are looking at in short right now is one more dip in the indexes, whether 5900, 5880, or a lower one. But I think we are towards the end of this correction in this, and the next leg is gonna actually take us much higher, which kind of raises our potential targets upwards, right? So initially, now let's just go back to um, SPX. If you see, just one second. Yeah. So if you see, our previous conversation was that if this leg continues, and we were talking about this on Thursday as well, that if this leg continues as is, which it was, right, then I don't expect this five to go much higher. It was like 5200, 6200 or something, and then this should start correcting. But a dip either lower into four or even this 5900, this will give us a good opportunity here to have a next wave three dip and a wave five. So somewhere into 6400 plus, we can say is somewhere it can just keep pushing upwards, right? So the upside targets have changed. All what we just need to see is whether we get this much dip or whether we get this dip. That's all. Um, I kind of covered a lot of things, but any questions on this? Okay, pretty clear. Cool. Let's talk about DIA because we already have a puts on this. So the reason I took the puts, similar way we have talked about, we do not want to buy the highs. We always look into if you have longs, just close it into the highs, and if there's an opportunity, we'll take a short as well, right? So right now, all what I see is that we have these five waves developed right into this supply, and that was just started to show up. So as the correction begins, all what I'm looking at is this support level, the area where the breakout happened. It just comes back right into this area, this demand dips into it, and after that, if it starts want to kind of wants to rip further higher, that's good enough, no problem. It can be a simple ABC leg again, and then our targets will kind of shift higher from there. One, two, three, four, five, right? So these targets will kind of move up higher. So that's why we are short. We're just trying to look into this dip into midway into the discount zone, and then we'll just go from there. Will it make new low along others? I don't know yet, but we'll just see what happens. Um, So the question is, given that this move down over the last few days is corrective, even the most bearish scenario shows that, oh yes, the top is not in yet. Like I said, just going back to our SPX conversation, our two dip scenarios are basically 5900 at the max, close this gap 5862, and there is of course the demand starts at 5880 in US 500 as well. So anywhere in this area, right, the dip comes, and if you see this kind of holds, this dip holds this channel as well. So that's a good part about this, right? As long as this area is holding, it's super bullish immediately, right? But even if it comes down to here, it does not invalidate anything about the new high, not about the new high, right? So that's what I was explaining at first. This is still a way for, unless I see something like this, where it keeps selling here, then I would have to start talking about, oh, probably the top is in. That's way too far. I don't see that happening. Not a scenario I think uh, uh, is even worth considering at this point, to be honest with you. This is too far out. There is a lot of runway left in many stocks, and the only thing right now, all what I'm thinking about is how deeper it can go, right? But the top is really not in. We have some time for that top to be in. In fact, with this 5900 dip or this lower dip, the target only has stretched into 6400, 6500. It hasn't reduced. Right, so that was and Bitcoin. Let's just cover that while we are here. We were looking for this wave to dip, and the reason I'm not, and somebody asked me, should I be closing coin and MSTR and Bitcoin as that I did on Monday? I'm not, just in case we don't get a dip, right? Just in case the dip was over yesterday. What if, right? These are the positions I'm already you know long on at a very decent price. I don't want to give them up. If let's say if the dip comes in FBTC or BTC right here, I'll just probably simply add more. Right? I don't have a problem in adding more at this point of time. If this rips, I certainly want to be in a position where I am able to not doing any kind of FOMO in there and let my positions in the cryptos run along if indexes actually break out above 60 100 and they start running, right? So keeping those position open at this point of time, we have the airports, we have a certain hedge, we can play around and make money, right? And we do have longs in play if something like that happens, right, where there is no dip and everybody is surprised to the upside. You always have to keep your options open. You cannot say that, okay, market cannot rip at all. I mean, it's all probabilities, right, that we deal with. So keeping these options, keeping these crypto positions open to have some stake in the game, and and like I said, we are long. So any dip, these are not option contracts that we are holding, so it doesn't really bother me. So we should be good from that perspective. Um, yeah, no, I do not deal with the timing as a fifth timing as a tool, or do not try to predict the cycles in terms of the months and all that. I totally trade the price. That to answer your question. All right. Anything else that we want to cover? Okay. All right. Cool. Sounds good. Thank you so very much for taking time and joining this call. Sure.